Hi guys, it's Courtney, and today I'm going to be talking about my diverse family and my real family. My diverse family, they are Asian American. They come from China, and it is very different from my culture because I'm American and I was born here and I never had to move anywhere. So, traveling to the US from China meant that they had to keep up with two different cultures at the same time. And my family's from Shanghai, which is right here, and it's a very large city, and they moved to San Francisco, which is another large city in the US. So they didn't have very much of a difference where they lived as far as both of them were large cities, but the lifestyles are very different. With moving to a different country, you have to really think about you're leaving behind most of your family, you're leaving behind your own culture, you're coming to a new culture, and then you're also trying to figure out how you fit in. So as you can see, that's probably really hard for people who don't speak proper English, and people make fun of you and they might pick on you and you might have a hard time finding work. And I mean, that's really difficult, and I would probably hate to do that myself. I probably would freak out if I had to move to another country. So my diverse family, they came in the early 1950s. The grandparents did, and that's what was really hard for them because in the early 1950s, China was really big with the communist movement, and it was very hard for people to find work and actually get jobs and even get an education. So it was really important for them to leave and try to find a new place to live with their with their family. So when they came over with minimal education and little money, I can kind of relate to that because me and my sister, besides my mother, are the only people in my family that have gone to college. Um, my mom only did 2 years for an associate's degree, and my dad never went to college. Neither did my grandfather or my grandmother. Which back then it was kind of you didn't need to go to college to get a good job. Now, obviously, you do. So with trying to figure out how to get a good education and make money, especially when you're trying to move over here, I can totally see how that would be really difficult. So my diverse family is made up of a mom, a dad, a son, and a daughter, along with their grandmother. Their grandfather passed away, which I can relate to because my dad's parents I never got to meet. They passed away before I was born. Um, so I've only had one set of grandparents my whole life, so I can kind of relate to only having a limited amount of family as far as immediate family close by. So the mom's name is Ling Ling, which is a traditional Chinese name, and she's named after her mother, which is Ling. The dad's name is Li Ping, which is a traditional Chinese name. And the son's name, it's the way it's spelled is actually true. There's supposed to be a little dash above the A here, but I couldn't get that on there. But it's pronounced bow, like bow and arrow, like bow, yeah. And then there's Lee, which is the daughter, and that's how you spell that. And then this is my family. I have my dog Bubba, my dog Roxy, me and my sister. We're twins, but this one's me and this one's my sister. And her name's Cassidy. And then these are my parents. This is my mom, and this is my dad. This is Jenny, and this is Pat. And then this is me and my sister again. So my diverse family and my family have this kind of the same traditions, but a little bit different. As far as when it talks about the New Year, obviously people in America, a lot of people like to watch the ball drop on New Year's Eve in Times Square because it's like a big party and everybody likes to watch it. And my diverse family, they do watch it, but it doesn't really signify anything because Chinese New Year is different from the American New Year. So the Chinese New Year starts on the first new moon of the next year. So normally that happens between January 12th and February 20th. Whereas my family celebrates the New Year on December 31st through January 1st. And a lot of people don't realize, but like it's very hard for different families to like come together and like figure out like, oh, you celebrate this or you celebrate that. And because my family only has like their immediate family, my diverse family, they only have the grandma, the mom, the dad, and the 2 siblings. It's kind of hard for them to actually like make good traditions and celebrate them because the rest of their family is in China, so they can celebrate it easier. So one thing that a lot of Chinese families do to celebrate the New Year is that they make dumplings. So I found this book called Dumpling Soup, which really helps to explain how Chinese people make dumplings as a tradition to celebrate the New Year and how it is important as a family to do this tradition. My family, we eat black-eyed peas on the day of the New Year to like give you good luck the rest of the year. And I mean, it is a party, but like the Chinese New Year, they have like lights and they have a festival and they have a dragon and it's all like beautiful and very moving. Whereas like in the US, it's just a huge party where everybody drinks. But anyway, one of the very important things to my family is religion. So I am a Christian, but I'm not like a devout Christian where I go to church every Sunday. My parents do, but I don't. It's just like a personal choice. I just don't have the time, I feel, to go to church. It'll probably change when I get older, but still. My diverse family, on the other hand, they're Buddhist, which is a different culture altogether. Not culture, religion. Altogether. Buddhists, they're more about meditation, following the right path, and trying to succeed into getting to like the complete afterlife, because they have this thing where they think about rebirth and you're constantly being reborn, and you don't want that. You want to be at peace with your family, so you have to actually try to figure out like achieving nirvana, which is like the only way to escape like being reborn. Whereas Christians, we just believe that you go to heaven or you go to hell. You aren't reborn. You don't have to worry about going through more stuff. The goal of like Christians is to just like celebrate God and like love him and like obey his commands, whereas the goal of Buddhists are to stop being reborn. So it's a big difference, and like you're like celebrating like this religion for certain reasons, which is understandable. My diverse family, the parents are married, but marriage to Buddhists isn't as important as it is to Christians. Like the Bible says you like have to be married because you have to be like married to your husband, and you have to be like married to your wife before you have sex. And like Buddhists, they aren't very like, you can still be happy and not be married. So they're more accepting of LGBTQ people than Christians are. I feel like it's a personal choice. You do whatever you want to do. But my diverse family is extremely open about it. They're okay with that because, like, as a Buddhist, as long as you're finding peace, like, you can achieve nirvana, which is achieving like stopping being reborn, which is what their main goal is. Being Buddhist, my family doesn't have to celebrate Christmas, but because they're in the US and it's very like traditionalized and like, I want to say like commercialized too, like Christmas is a big deal. And it's like about presents and all this other stuff. But to Christians, it's supposed to mean the birth of Jesus Christ, and it's supposed to symbolize something very important. My family we celebrate it as like the nativity and like all that other stuff. Whereas my diverse family, they just kind of celebrate it to celebrate it. It's kind of like, oh, you give gifts and everything, but like a traditional, like they do celebrate Christmas, whereas it's not like meaningful, it's just kind of there, but they don't put it down on anybody, and they don't like say that it's like stupid or anything, because it's not their religion, but it's part of their new culture because of where they live now. And I think that that's important, to try to adapt different cultures and different traditions, and I think that it's kind of unique that you can learn about this stuff and actually be like okay with like changing your opinion and your culture. So my diverse family, which this is okay with like any like Chinese family, it's very important to be together as a family. It's very important to be close with your family members, and it's very important to be like together all the time, which is hard because they've moved from their country where all their family is to a new country. And I think that that's important to note when you're becoming a teacher, because you want to make sure that you're not dismissing someone's cultural beliefs because they might live here now. That might not, they might still celebrate that stuff. They might still want to include that stuff. And I think that that's important just in general to help like improve stuff with people's family. And you want to make sure the community is like all together. And I just wanted to show some pictures of my family. My great grandmother, this is my great great grandmother, this is my great grandmother, and this is my grandmother. My great grandmother and my great great grandmother have both since passed away, but I do think that it's still important to think about those people that have passed away. And I think that it's important to any family, not even if it's not your real family, but it's important to like take special care and take note that people do miss their family and they do celebrate that. So, especially when you're like a teacher, some kids are going to have deaths in their family and they may not know how to like handle that. So you really want to make sure that if it's somebody from a different culture, that you're not dismissing something that they do, whereas like they celebrate the life of that person, and they don't just celebrate, or they don't just be upset about the death. And these are my citations of where I got my information from. And I hope y'all have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.